Yeah, it's kind of nice being here without Gruffus. No offense to the guy, but, he wasn't always such a jerk. I mean, me and him used to be, best friends. It's recording now? Okay, hi, I'm Mortimer. Nice to meet you. That's not the line. Okay, well, anyway, this is Puppet Tabletop, and today we're going to be taking a look at Final Girl. Yeah, no, we met when we both signed up for this board game tournament that ended up being like a Squid Game situation, and me and him were the only ones that made it out alive. Who doesn't love Halloween? It makes me think of my time back in Wizard College. Vengeful spirits roaming the halls and bloodthirsty monsters getting on the loose were all just par for the course at Wizard College. Too bad I flunked out. Anyways, I love this holiday, and nothing screams Halloween to me quite like a good slasher film. In Final Girl, spoiler alert, it's my favorite solo game of all time, you're gonna be taking on the role of a final... Can someone get me a water, please? No, I don't want a Splorgle Blast. That stuff is like poison. So, as the title implies, in Final Girl, you'll be taking on the role of a final girl. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the concept, in practically every slasher movie worth its salt, the movie ends up with just one final girl fighting against the killer. Halloween, Alien, and Nightmare on Elm Street are all just a few examples. So, to set up the game, you'll pick which final girl you want to play as, and you'll grab your starting hand of zero-cost action cards. Then you'll set up your player board. You'll set up your starting health, your time tracker, and your horror tracker. Next, you'll choose which killer you want to fight against and set up the killer board, making sure to set up the killer's starting health and their bloodlust tracker, as well as some dark power and finale cards. Lastly, you'll choose which location you want to fight the killer at. You'll randomly draw a location setup card, and you'll use it to set up the player, the killer, and the victim meeples. Each location also has their own item and event decks to set up. You'll reveal and resolve the top card of the event deck before starting. Lastly, you'll set up a deck of terror cards, which will include cards based on a combination of the killer and the location that you've selected. There's a lot of different components that you need to keep track of when you set up, but it's so worth it. Once you're done setting up, it's time to start saving victims and taking down the killer. You start every round by playing action cards from your hand. These action cards let you do all kinds of things, like move around the map, attack the killer, search for items, and all that other good stuff that's required to survive a monstrous murderer. The important thing, though, is that practically every action card will require you to make a horror roll. You roll a number of dice indicated by the horror tracker on your player board. The more horrified you are, the fewer dice you get. And these dice have 3 different results. A success, this one, which will require you to discard 2 cards from your hand in order to count it as a success. And a big old helping of nothing. Then count up your successes and do the corresponding effects listed on the action you played. As I just mentioned, these action cards let you do a bunch of different things, but I'm really only going to go over a few of them here. If you move, you can move your final girl to an adjacent space, and when you do, you can move up to 2 victims with you. Why do you want to move the victims? If you ever successfully escort victims to one of these green exit spaces, you've successfully rescued them. They go running off into the night, horrifically scarred by the traumatizing events that unfolded that evening. But hey, at least they're safe. Good job! You then take those rescued meeples and cover up a space on your Final Girl card, receiving the listed rewards. If your card ever fills up, you flip the card over to unlock the Final Girl's ultimate ability. Another action that you might take on your turn is searching. If you're in an orange search space, depending on your results, you might get to draw 1 or more cards from the item deck, which can be used as the game continues. And the last action that I'll cover is attacking. These are risky moves that if you pull them off, you get to take some health away from the killer, which is usually how you end up winning the game. And once you've decided to stop spending action cards, you then move on to the planning phase. This is where you spend the remaining time on your time tracker to purchase cards to put into your hand for the next round. All of the cards in the action tableau set up at the beginning of the game have a cost listed in the lower right. After you spend all of your time, you reset your time tracker to 6 and move on to the killer phase. In the killer phase, you'll resolve the killer actions by flipping over terror cards and potentially getting attacked by the killer. If you ever lose your final health, you flip over your last health token, which is randomly selected at the beginning of the game to see if there's any extra hearts. If there are hearts, you heal up one last time and you get a final chance to kill the monster. But if the back of the token is blank, well, you've just died and the killer wins. But this fight isn't just between you and the killer. The killer's gonna be running around slaughtering victims the whole time. This is bad news, not just thematically, but also because the killer gets stronger and stronger the more victims he kills. And after the killer phase is done, you check to see if any of the victims panic. This causes them to just run in random directions, fleeing the killer. Then you move on to the upkeep phase, checking to see if specific conditions have been met, or if there's an event that needs to be resolved, and then play continues on to the next round. But that's basically the whole game. You're running around trying to rescue people and collect items while playing a hand management game by managing your action cards and balancing your horror and time resources. If you manage to kill the killer, you flip over their final health token just like your own to see if they have a second wind. If not, you've slain the killer and saved the day. Also, if you ever manage to kill the killer, but die as a result, you also still win the game because your sacrifice brought an end to the monster's rampage. So, what did I like about Final Girl? As an avid solo gamer, one thing that I often struggle with is a lot of solo games just kind of feel like you're putting together IKEA furniture, stumbling through a series of procedures without actually having any input on the gameplay. Final Girl? It's the total opposite of that. They've somehow managed to make it feel like every part of the game is impactful. You even have action cards that allow you to interact with the killer during the killer phase. It gives you this feeling that you're actually experiencing the gameplay during every step of the game, even steps that normally would just feel like maintenance mode. The game just manages to pack an epic and immersive experience into a solo game in a way that I've never experienced before. There's literally never a dull moment in this game. And speaking of excitement, let's talk about the theme. Final Girl is just the perfect smoothie of mechanics and theme. You get it? Smoothie because, they're blended. The gameplay feels like a constant uphill battle where there's always just enough hope to continue. But it's punishing enough that every decision feels like there's real stakes. And everything could go south at any moment. And no wonder why the game adopted the slasher theme because, it just fits it perfectly. When you play it, it feels like you're experiencing your own horror movie. Plus everything, from the items to the event cards, they all impact the game thematically exactly how you would expect. And another thing I love about the game is how replayable it is. As long as you have the core box, you can play any of the huge number of Final Girl feature film boxes. And this means that the game is really as small and cheap or big and expensive as you want it to be. And each of these feature film boxes comes with their own Final Girls, their own killer, their own location. Plus, all of the boxes can be mixed and matched. You can take the location from one box, mix it with the killer from another box, and play using the Final Girl from another box. And somehow they've managed to pull this off while keeping every game perfectly balanced. But back to the replayability, because of all of this modularity, I've played this game an insane amount of times and I've never played the same game twice. And also, the component quality here is just absolutely fantastic. And while there are deluxe components you can buy, everything included in the base box is already good enough quality with some nice chunky meeples and tokens. I really feel like I got my money's worth out of this game. And last, but not least, because Gruffus would probably kill me if I omitted it, it's box time! The boxes in Final Girl? Well, they're pretty wild. All those location and killer boards that you're using for the game? Well, they're the box. They're magnetized, and they just kind of snap on and off the insert. It definitely saves on storage space, and while I do think it's a positive overall, I must admit it is a little bit fiddly to put back together. Additionally, the box inserts are double-sided. It comes with one side to store the killer components, and one side to store the location components. And while it is nice to have things separated that way, it definitely feels a little bit fiddly, just like the magnetized bits. While overall I do really enjoy these boxes and their approach to storage solution, I must admit it does feel just a tad bit over-engineered. But still, it's a solid box. So, what did I not like about Final Girl? Oh god, I was dreading this moment. I don't want to talk bad about this game. I love it so much. It's gonna be okay, Mortimer. You can do this. As I mentioned, I absolutely love this game. But there's two issues with it if I'm being honest. First is that the feature films vary in difficulty pretty drastically. Most are somewhere in the middle, but some of them are way too easy, and others are way too hard. For example, there's one called Slaughter in the Grove. Holy crap, I don't know if it's just that this one's impossible or if I'm just not playing it right. I've made it my life's mission to beat this feature film before I die, but if I'm being honest, I don't know if I will, it's that difficult. And this variance in difficulty between the feature films isn't indicated on the boxes in any way. As a result, you might start your experience by buying one of the boxes that's the hardest ones to play, or you might end up getting experienced buying a different box looking for a new challenge only to find that it's remarkably easy. I just wish there was a more defined way to figure out the difficulty without having to dig through forums on Board Game Geek or Reddit. The second issue that I have with Final Girl is that the setup, well, it's just a lot. For being a relatively standard-sized board game, and for playing as quick as it does, it really takes a while to set up. I love this game, and I play it a lot, but I struggle to want to break it out during the weeknights when I'm exhausted after a long day of work. I just don't have the energy, which is unfortunate because it's a perfect game to play during the week when you come home, but it's just that setup. It's a lot. Hey, Mortimer, where's your loser friend Gruffus at? Oh, hey, Vinny. Yeah, Gruffus is out right now. I don't know when he's gonna be back. Well, I was hoping to keep you out of our little arrangement, seeing as you're such a nice guy and all, but I'm gonna need you to pass a message on to him for me. Absolutely. What do you want me to tell him? You tell him that I'm doubling his payment from next month, and that if he's short even $1, we're gonna have a problem, and he can say goodbye to his little toy show. Well, I mean, it's a board game show, not a toy show, but wait a minute. What do you mean money he owes you? He didn't tell you, did he? He borrowed a bunch of money from me and the other octopuses down at La Jolla Cove. As his business partner, I imagine he would have told you, but then again, he is a little piece of sewer garbage, am I right? Anyways, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Our problem is with him, not you. At least for the moment. But seriously, tell him we're not playing around. See you soon, Mortimer. Seriously, guys? You guys all knew about this and nobody said anything? No, I don't know how many times I have to tell you. I'm not drinking the Splorgle Blast. It's poison. They had a lawsuit over it. I just found out I'm indebted to an octopus. I'm not drinking the damn
Splorgle Blast! Never let the party die!
So, that's Final Girl. It's probably one of the best solo games I've ever played. It's thematic, endlessly replayable, extremely fun, and one of the most engaging solo experiences I've ever had. The stories that emerge from the gameplay and the cross-compatibility of every box make this game truly one of a kind, and I could not recommend it highly enough. If you're an avid solo gamer, or if you're just looking to dip your toe into solo gaming, Final Girl is the game for you. And with that, it's time to bestow it with the highest honor we have here at Puppet Tabletop, the Puppet's Chef Kiss. Mwah! Well, that's gonna do it for this one. As always, thanks for watching, and remember to shop at your local board game store if you can. Hey Mortimer, I'm back from the rave. Corporate retreat seminar thing. What? Why, you son of a...